goodness. Hey, 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 hey. Let's see. This is crazy. Lord, I hope this madness ends soon. I hope it ends soon. Hey, y'all, come on in. Come on in. Come on in. Let's. Jimmy Kimmel. Tucker Carlson dropped another one.
Raising the next generation is one of the biggest jobs you can have. But finding...
Charlie didn't hate Jews. He loved Jews.
Oh, no.
We can do this the easy way or the hard way.
Uh-oh.
These companies can find ways to change conduct, to take action, frankly, on Kimmel, or, there's going to be additional work for the FCC ahead. There's calls for Kimmel to be fired. I think you could certainly see a path forward for suspension over this. And again, the FCC is going to have remedies that we could look at. And again, we may ultimately be called to be a judge on that.
A judge?
You just heard from FCC Chairman Brandon Carr suggesting to Benny Johnson that the Trump administration could take action against ABC, and that is, in fact...
Oh,
we
he
can do this
predicted.
the easy way or the hard way. These companies can find ways to change conduct, to take action, frankly, on Kimmel, or, there's going to be additional work for the FCC ahead. There's calls for Kimmel to be fired. I think, you could certainly see a path forward for suspension over this. And again, the FCC is going to have remedies that we could look at. And again, we may ultimately be called to be a judge on that.
You just heard from FCC Chairman Brandon Carr suggesting to Benny Johnson that the Trump administration could take action against ABC, and that is, in fact, in response to comments made by Jimmy Kimmel. And it turns out that Nexstar, Jimmy Kimmel's employer, has chosen to throw their employee under the bus ahead of a potential merger that they're hoping to get approved, by the way. So there's a lot to this story. Wow. Kimmel has now been suspended indefinitely over comments that he had made in regard to Tyler Robinson, the alleged Charlie Kirk assassin. Now, here's what Kimmel had said, which led to so much ire being directed toward him. He said, "We hit some new lows over the weekend with the Maga gang desperately trying to characterize this kid who murdered Charlie Kirk as anything other than one of them and doing everything they can to score political points from it." Wow. Now, obviously, Kimmel's statements were inaccurate. There was no indication that Tyler Robinson was a Trump supporter or a MAGA Republican. And to be honest with you, there's been a lot of irresponsible, jumping ahead of the gun and kind of characterizing this guy in order to, make the other political side look bad. But the one thing that has become pretty clear to me through what we've learned through this investigation so far is that he hated Charlie Kirk. He felt that Charlie Kirk was spreading hate, and that Robinson allegedly has a transgender partner and was particularly upset with Charlie Kirk over his anti-trans comments. So what Jimmy Kimmel said was inaccurate. There's no question about it. But it wasn't until Brendan Carr came out and said what he said during that interview with Benny Johnson that Nexstar decided, yeah, let's suspend Kimmel indefinitely. So let me read you the statement. They say that Mr. Kimmel's comments about the death of Mr. Kirk are offensive and insensitive at a critical time in our national political discourse, and we do not believe they reflect the spectrum of opinions, views, or values of the local communities in which we are located. So that was a statement from the president of Nexstar's broadcasting division, Andrew Alford. And so he says, continuing to give Mr. Kimmel a broadcast platform in the public interest at this current time. Continue to give Mr. Kimmel a broadcast platform in the communities we serve is simply not in the public interest at the current time. And we have made this difficult decision to preempt his show in an effort to let cooler heads prevail as we move forward or move toward the resumption of respectful, constructive dialogue. So Nexstar currently operates mostly in smaller, mid-sized markets, though they include the ABC stations in New Orleans and also Salt Lake City. And I should note the decision also comes as Nexstar, comes as the broadcast station is seeking FCC approval for its $6.2 billion mega deal to acquire Tegna, a deal that would make Nexstar by far the largest owner of local TV stations in the country. Those mergers.
Hello, everybody that just pulled in. Thank you for joining. Can you please double tap your screen on your phone or at the top right? There are 3 dots. Hit those dots, the thumbs up for me. I would greatly appreciate it.
Be calling jank. So, but I'm curious what you think about Kimmel's statements. And with the Maga gang desperately trying to characterize this kid who murdered Charlie Kirk as anything other than one of them and doing everything they can to score political points from it. Now, obviously, Kimmel's statements were inaccurate. There was no indication that Tyler Robinson was a Trump supporter or a MAGA Republican. And to be honest with you, there's been a lot of irresponsible, jumping ahead of the gun and kind of characterizing this guy in order to, make the other political side look bad. But the one thing that has become pretty clear to me through what we've learned through this investigation so far is that he hated Charlie Kirk. He felt that Charlie Kirk was spreading hate and that Robinson allegedly has a transgender partner and was particularly upset with Charlie Kirk over his anti-trans comments. So what Jimmy Kimmel said was inaccurate. There's no question about it. But it wasn't until Brendan Carr came out, said what he said.
But they are saying, there's some sources that's saying that the email or the Discord is made up. It was forged. So who knows? With so much manipulation and lying and deceit, cover up, it could all be made up.
That Nexstar decided, let's suspend Kimmel indefinitely. So let me read you the statement. They say that Mr. Kimmel's comments about the death of Mr. Kirk are offensive and insensitive at a critical time in our national political discourse, and we do not believe they reflect the spectrum of opinions, views, or values of the local communities in which we are located. So that was a statement from the president of Nexstar's broadcasting division, Andrew Alford. And so he says, continuing to give Mr. Kimmel a broadcast platform in the public interest at this current time. Continue to give Mr. Kimmel a broadcast platform in the communities we serve is simply not in the public interest at the current time. And we have made this difficult decision to preempt his show in an effort to let cooler heads prevail as we move forward or move toward the resumption of respectful, constructive dialogue. So Nexstar currently operates mostly in smaller, mid-sized markets, though they include the ABC stations in New Orleans and also Salt Lake City. And I should note the decision also comes as Nexstar, comes as the broadcast station is seeking FCC approval for its $6.2 billion mega deal to acquire Tegna, a deal that would make Nexstar by far the largest owner of local TV stations in the country. those mergers be calling, Jank. So, but like, I'm curious what you think about Kimmel's statements, because I do think Kimmel is feeding into, not only were his statements inaccurate, it feeds into this like partisan brain rot that's fueling a lot of unrest in this country. What do you think?
So on what Jimmy Kimmel said, so was it wrong? Yes. So what do I think is allowed and not allowed? It's not even allowed. It's just what should you do and not do in a situation like that. Now we're sitting there for 3-4 days with no information on who the shooter is, what their motive was, etc. If you say no speculation is allowed, what, everybody's just going to sit around silent for 4 days? We will wait for the official government position. We are not at all curious. We will not talk about it. No, that's an unreasonable standard. Nobody's going to do that. And by the way, if you're in the right wing, you really want to get canceled over speculation after a shooting or any other major event? The right wing in my lifetime has done massive speculation about who it could be, etc. I'm not saying the left wing doesn't, right? I'm just saying that it's a thing that happens. It's normal, it's human, etc. Now, at the same time, should you make, if you're on television, you're in media, should you make definitive statements before you know? No, of course not.
Well, that's what comedians do. They do it
that's
all the
why
time.
If Jimmy Kimmel was not a comic and he was ABC's news anchor and he said, oh, yes, that's right, Tyler Robinson was MAGA, you'd go, whoa, what are you doing? The authorities haven't even come out yet with anything. Why are you stating that definitively? So that would definitely be wrong.
But
Now,
don't they
we
do
move
it
to,
all the
okay,
time?
so
What's
should they
different
have
this
taken him
time,
off
though?
there?
They always do that.
Not only were his statements inaccurate, it feeds into this like partisan brain rot that's fueling a lot of
Since
unrest in this
when?
country.
Mark,
What do you
since
think?
when?
So on
Mark.
what Jimmy Kimmel
Since when? They've always had an opinion about things without the facts. They make assumptions all the time. They've been doing it for years. So what's special about what he said this time? Why? I mean, we act like someone has not been unalive before in the world, and media didn't have a comment about it. What's so special about Charlie that people are losing their jobs? Yeah, no. It's something bigger than that. He wasn't that special. I'm sorry. No disrespect, but what is so special? I need to know.
said. So was it wrong? Yes. So what do I think is allowed and not allowed? It's not even allowed. It's just what should you do and not do in a situation like that. Now we're sitting there for 3-4 days with no information on who the shooter is, what their motive was, etc. If you say no speculation is allowed, what, everybody's just going to sit around silent for 4 days?
No,
We will wait for the official government position. We
They
are not at
don't-
all
they
curious.
don't
We
ever
will
do
not
that.
talk about it. No, that's an unreasonable standard. Nobody's going to do that. And by the way, if you're in the right wing, you really want to get canceled over speculation after a shooting or any other major event? The right wing in my lifetime has done massive speculation about who
Absolutely.
it could be, etc. I'm not saying the left wing doesn't, right?
That's
just
what I'm
that it's a thing
saying.
that
It's
happens.
nothing
it's normal,
new.
It's human, etc. Now, at the same time, should you make, if you're on television, you're in media, should you make definitive statements before you know? No, of course not. But okay, so that's why. If Jimmy Kimmel was not a comic and he was
And
ABC's
Trump
news
talk
anchor and
about
he said,
people
"Oh,
all the
yes, that's
time.
right,
He
Tyler
makes
Robinson was
comments
MAGA."
all
You
the
go,
time.
Whoa, what are you doing? The authorities haven't even come out yet with anything. Why are you
Thank you,
stating that
Janet.
definitively? So that would definitely be wrong. Now we move to, okay, so should they have taken him off the air? Well, brother, he's not a news anchor. He's a comic. It was
Right.
the setup to a joke. It was
Right.
inaccurate. So what would I do if I was running the station? I'd
Yeah,
why are
Trump.
you stating that definitively? So that would definitely be wrong.
Trump accused the left. He accused people before just to put blame on people. He didn't have no accurate information. He intentionally put it on the wrong people. So what's the difference?
Now we move to, okay, so should they have taken him off the air? Well, brother, he's not a news anchor. He's a comic. It was the setup to a joke. It was inaccurate.
Thank you,
So
Ryan.
what would I do if I was running the station? I'd talk to Kimmel and I'd say, you get that that's wrong, right? I know. It was a setup to a joke. I know, and it's
Tone
not,
it down.
you're not, you know, Walter Cronkite. You're doing comedy here, but still, it might give people the wrong idea. So I don't even want you saying it definitively in a joke. And then my guess is Kimmel would go, "Oh, you're right. I get it. We shouldn't have done that, right?" And maybe even puts out a statement, not like groveling or anything, but like, "Hey, our bad. We didn't know then definitively, and it turns out it's this, right?" I wouldn't take him off the air. Now, why wouldn't I take him off the air? Because Trump is going around going, "I got Colbert, now I want Kimmel. We're going to cancel all of them. They better not criticize me." And in the context of that, now you take Kimmel off after CBS took Colbert off. And CBS took him.
He's mad because he failed. Yeah, he looked bad. On top of the Epstein stuff and the files and his name, his signature, you're just a loser. Yeah, so the whole town's laughing at me. Yeah. I mean, because let's be clear. Let's just be honest. Kimmel, all of them, everybody have said things about Trump. Laughed at him in their comedy skits. They didn't lose their job. What is it about Charlie, that people are losing their job? There's more to it than that. They've talked about the orange, the hair, the doodle diaper. They didn't get fired. Why are people, not just Kimmel, people, period, losing their jobs? It's still a bigger cover up. Yeah, and so these companies that were getting these tax breaks and grants and extra money cover up. Yeah.
Off while they were trying to prove a merger. Now next starts taking Kimmel off while they're trying to prove a merger. This looks terrible.
Okay.
And it is terrible. And by the way, as you know, we talked about on Tucker Carlson's show last night, and we've talked about in every context here, if there's one thing that Charlie Kirk stood for, it was freedom of speech. Now, if you're on the left, you say, "Oh, I don't really believe
but he's
that
been having a hard on for him, and he's
guys.
talked about him.
That was his defining issue, and the right wing 100% believes
But
that
it's
is
something.
his defining
It's
issue.
something different
And I
about
think,
this
look,
kid.
Was he perfect on that? No. Did I, again, we'll say it for the 1,000th time. Did we disagree with him on a whole host of issues? Yes, right? But did he fight for freedom of speech for his?
He must have been the brains behind something really important, and something behind the deals. But I'm sure that young man went over to Israel and saw some things that he probably wasn't supposed to see, or they wanted him to see, and thought that they had manipulated him or brainwashed him enough to be a part of it. And if it had that trafficking stuff, he wasn't going, I guess.
Side, but obviously freedom of speech is not a thing you do for just the
Hey,
right or the
Kimberly.
left. So for all of America, that's what he was known for. That's what he was most known for. So if your reaction is, because you stated something incorrect in a quarter of a joke, I'm going to take your speech away. That's what Charlie would have wanted. Medicare is as messy as my daughter's room. It's almost impossible to wade through either one of those things.
The hardest thing is to get started. You have to get it on paper.
No, you're making things up. Okay, and I know they didn't say that. To be perfectly accurate, they didn't say that's what Charlie would have wanted, right? You're making things up. They didn't say that's what Charlie would have wanted. Things up. Okay, and I know they didn't say that. To be perfectly accurate, they didn't say that's what Charlie would have wanted.
Please
right?
hit the like button.
Context in our communities, blah,
It's
blah, blah.
500.
But in essence, that's what you're doing.
406 people. Hit the like button.
It sucks. I think it's bad for the country. It's bad for free speech.
Double tap
and I'm
your
tired
screen.
of Trump and the right wing. Look, Kirk, I would argue, was principled enough on free speech. Trump has not been at all. Not close, not within a million miles of close. And in fact, right after Charlie Kirk died, Bondi and Trump backed her up, said, oh yeah, hate speech, anything. And Trump even said to a reporter from ABC, oh, you're questioning me?
What, Kimberly?
No, it's not. No, it's not. That's a reporter doing his job. That's part of the First Amendment, freedom of speech and freedom of the press. And Trump doesn't understand that. And so now taking out people who make fun of a politician to serve that up on a silver platter to Trump.
Who's a politician? Hold up. Who's the politician? Hold up. Who's the politician? I thought he was just an influencer.
And I think it sucks. I think it's bad for the country. It's bad for free speech. And I'm tired of Trump and the right wing. Look, Kirk, I would argue,
his name is Charles.
Was principled enough on free speech. Trump has not been at all. Not close, not within a million miles of close. And in fact, right after Charlie Kirk died, Bondi and Trump backed her up, said, oh yeah, hate speech, anything. And Trump even said to a reporter from ABC, oh, you're questioning me? That's hate speech. No, it's not. No, it's not. That's a reporter doing his job. That's part of the First Amendment, freedom of speech and freedom of the press. And Trump doesn't understand that. And
yes,
so
he do.
Taking out people who
he understands
make
it.
Fun of the press.
Oh my God. Yes, he does understand it. Trump understands freedom of speech because he feels like he's free to say and insult any and everybody on TV, in person, wherever he's at. He feels that he has the freedom of speech. He thinks he has the freedom. He feel like he can grab your coochie. He can touch you. He can take it. He understands freedom of speech. He doesn't like to be exposed. He doesn't like to be rejected or talked about. He wants everybody to believe he's perfect. I'm perfect. Yeah, they said it's great. He believes his own lies. He's sick in the head. And that's not just dementia. It's been like that. He feels entitled. But he wants everybody else to follow the law, follow the rules, but he wants to break them. This is what happens for whoever voted for him, who's feeling some type of way now, being okay with a convicted felon in the White House. I'm going to say it again. A convicted felon in the White House. No one ever wants to talk about that. But he has the nerve, the gall, and the audacity to talk about criminals on the streets. Sir, you are just a criminal in the White House. What is the difference? Freedom of speech is freedom of speech. But that's why he wants to be able to interpret it. Interpret everything. He wants to change everything. And this is a problem. He understands. That's why his sister, his niece, or somebody was talking about his complex of being laughed at and embarrassed came over some damn mashed potatoes. And she said, and since that time, he pouts. He has a temper tantrum. She says, call him mashed potato head. Yeah.
It's part of the First Amendment, freedom of speech and freedom of the press. And Trump doesn't understand that. And so now taking out people who make fun of a politician to serve that up on a silver platter to Trump, no way. Disgusting.
Somebody says something.
I think I disagree with you. Like, the more I sit with what he said and the more I think about it. Look, guys, I mean, you have to consider, even if you loathe Charlie Kirk.
Captain Kirk was killed because of his comments about Epstein and Israel. Absolutely.
Who saw one of their, top influencers.
I talked about that
someone who had
earlier.
A tremendous amount of clout on the right wing. He gets assassinated. And so to make a declarative statement and pin the blame on the very people who are grieving the loss of Charlie Kirk before you have any evidence it's offensive. It's irresponsible. I get that he's a comic, so I guess we should hold him to a lower standard, I guess. But my problem with it is
hold him to the standard that we have always held him at. Everybody Don't change the rules now because Charlie is special. He's not special. He's not special. What makes him so special that now all the rules are change everything? They have said things that was not sensitive and people have lost their lives before. So why is he so special? I need to know. He is not God. He was not God. So what is going on? Y'all, it's 870 people here. I only have 68 likes. Now you can hit the like button, you can hit the dislike, but you need to hit something or you can leave. I am sick of this entitlement. People feel like they can do whatever and say whatever, and when things don't go their way, and we are laughing at you. That's what he feels like. People are laughing because he's a comic. Well, that's what we're supposed to do. His wife is a real threat. We ain't seen nothing yet. They'll get rid of her too. I mean, they don't went and ate and slept in the people's house and, you know, they rub elbows with the fake Israel guy, BB, who's really Poland. I mean, come on. A whole bunch of fraud. These people are not even who they say they are. They say that he just took on a Hebrew name. That's just fraud and phony.
Keeps feeding into
and now I honestly think deep down inside that Epstein is in Israel hiding with BB. Yeah, with and continuing with the human trafficking of kids, and that's why Trump sent, you know, although he wasn't even supposed to, sent them 600 minors unescorted to a foreign location. So now I think he has a deal with wherever he sends these immigrants or these kids. He probably have a hookup at that in that country.
You know, that divide. And it's all about like, oh no, it's your fault. It's the left's fault. It's the right's fault. It's just like this endless race to the bottom over which party sucks more. And I saw this happen with cable news too, where before we had any information about the suspect, before a suspect was even apprehended, every debate, every conversation was about left-wing ideology. Now, keep in mind, you know, it does appear that Tyler Robinson's motive was he didn't like what Charlie Kirk had to say about transgender people, and he felt that Charlie Kirk was spreading hate. But this is before we even had those details about Tyler Robinson. And so it's just, can we wait?
We never wait.
Importantly,
so why do we have to wait now? Why? Why do we have to wait now? We've never had to wait before. Never. So what is so special all of a sudden? Oh, because he was now they're saying a politician. No, he wasn't. He wasn't a politician. He was an influencer. He was good at debating and manipulating college kids. And I've since then listened to some of his talk shows, especially the ones where he's talking, asking about the Epstein. He said he knows Trump is on the list, and he was questioning Israel. Yeah, he didn't talk the same way he was talking to the kids when with the debate. His tone, you know, he was calmer. He wasn't talking all fast. Cause when he was doing that debate, I was beginning to think something was wrong with him. As fast as he was talking, but no, it's like he's totally different. But when he's on the college campus, he's manipulating. He's playing on words. He's switching it around. And he's doing that for Trump. And then he could go on his talk show and he's questioning Trump. It's like, what are we doing? Yeah, no. So you're scared now. So now everybody is going to be like, okay, let's wait. Okay. So because y'all scared that y'all will lose y'all job. So you have to watch what you say. So you don't have freedom of speech anymore. So he's dictating. Yeah, so the companies know that, well, if he don't fund us or he doesn't give us this or he snatched this so yeah. Or is well shit? Is this Disney? I heard stuff. Well, we know T-Steppers. Disney is associated with Epstein, so hell, they name probably on the list. Oh, wow. Let me hurry up and finish this because I know I heard say Disney.
My problem with it is it keeps feeding into, that divide. And it's all about like, oh no, it's your fault. It's the left's fault. It's the right's fault. It's just like this endless race to the bottom over which party sucks more.
Yeah.
And I saw this happen with cable news too, where before we had any information about the suspect, before a suspect was even apprehended, every debate, every conversation was about left-wing ideology. Now, keep in mind, it does appear that Tyler Robinson's motive was he didn't like what Charlie Kirk had to say about transgender people, and he felt that Charlie Kirk was spreading hate. But this is before we even had those details about Tyler Robinson. And so it's just, can we wait? And more importantly, why is it more important to pin the blame on your political opponents as opposed to taking note of where we are as a country right now?
She wants him, she feels like now, because Trump is snatching people's jobs. So now she's saying, oh, well, can we just wait until we know all the facts? You'll never know all the facts. Majority of it is a cover-up. So you're not solid. Yeah, you're an ass eater. You're an ass eater. His job is to make light of, joke, whatever. Nobody should be exempt. They haven't been exempt before. Charlie Kirk lost his life for freedom of speech. These people are losing their lives over freedom of speech. Exactly. It's a big difference from taking someone's life and losing their job. Freedom of speech is freedom of speech. Freedom of speech is freedom of speech. And if you wanted someone to be censored, then maybe they should have suggested that he be censored. But they didn't. They allowed him to say any and everything with sarcasm and disregard. It's unfortunate that he lost his life, but freedom of speech is freedom of speech. People have lost their lives. We don't want, listen, chaos in Detroit, we're not going to do this because there are several people who have lost their life over what they said. And nobody stopped nothing. So get your ass up out of here, ass eater. Y'all say bye to the ass eater from Detroit. Bye. It's me, SB, hide them files. What files? Bye. Anybody else need for me to hide them? So you don't ever have to return? I'm not biting my tongue. Freedom of speech is freedom of speech. Anybody else?
ultimately is as we move forward. You know, like
Yeah.
I guess my point is
No way.
rather than quelling violence, tension, the constant blame game, he kind of fed into it before we had the details about what Tyler Robinson actually believes.
So, Anna, look, the part I agree with you on is, yeah, can we cool it? So, to your point, I saw a poll today that more people believed that Tyler Robinson was on the right than the left. So, until recently, obviously now it's all over the news, right? And that's just totally wrong, right? And why did they believe that? Because so many people immediately, and yes, obviously on the left, jumped out and said, oh, he was probably Maga, he was a groyper, he was this. Now, we speculated. We speculated on the show. We gave you a range of options, right? I said, people are saying this, and this, but we don't know yet, right? That's what I think is the right thing to do. So other people jumped in and said, oh, we're sure he's on the right. Okay, so that's a problem.
So hold on.
quarter
So
of
they
a-
were they was some was getting it, so they was all over the place. They still had an opinion even about what side he was from. Just make an assumption. Yeah, so no one else can make an assumption. That's what I'm saying. They pick and choose. Who? No, man, this is crazy.
Freaking joke. So now I think, to your point about shoe on the other foot, right? Okay, if Greg Gutfeld had made the similar joke, would I say, that's it? Greg Gutfeld, I can't believe you made a joke.
Yeah.
And an inappropriate joke was a chorus incorrect statement. That's it, get Greg Gutfeld off the air. A, I wouldn't say it. B, no one would say it.
That's crazy.
C, there's absolutely no chance in the world that would happen. So now we're going to take off everyone on the left, the center, anyone who isn't right wing, but the right wing gets different rules. So Gutfeld can say whatever he wants. Everybody can say whatever they want on the right. And there was massive speculation. And Anna, let's be honest.
They
Were there
have
right-wing hosts?
temporary
Were there right-wing
amnesia.
media
Yeah, they
who were
do.
all saying from second one, leftists. Now, they didn't know either. Now, it turned out it was a leftist. And I don't, and what my point is, I'm not
We don't know if he's a leftist. We know that.
Hold
Anyway,
on, let me finish the point,
continue.
though,
Go
real
ahead.
quick.
But hold on.
not
Nobody
speculating
cared
this.
until no. Listen, young lady. No one cared until Trump put it out there. He put it out there without not an ounce of facts. He put radical, extreme. He was making it bad. People was like ready to. Yeah, come on. He was, and he could have been wrong or he could have been right. But he said it and did it to incite, and that is not right. But that still has nothing to do with freedom of speech.
That the shooter was on the left, because I get it, Charlie Kirk was on the right, so it's normal to think that the shooter was on the left. As someone who opposes him so much, they'd want to shoot him, right? But they didn't know either. So are we suspect?
Well, he was on the right when he sent money to Trump, right? Was he on the right when he sent his money? Huh? What was he then? What's up? Hey, Justin. Everybody good? What was he when he sent money to Trump? Was he right, left? Was he in the middle? What was he? See how we play? We throw the ball up in the air and it's just going round and round and round. So he was right where he needed to be. He was right when he sent the money. His mama and dad, his grandmama, everybody was right, so he's right. And now he left. Far left. Extreme. Oh, man, come on.
All of them?
He
Are we
took his.
firing all of
So
them?
is he gonna send his money back? Is Trump gonna send the man's little money back? Maybe he can use it for his bond. But Trump knows exactly who he is. just like the neighbors said, it was strange cars from out of town, and they visited the man. They went up to the college and everything to stage it.
No, it's a double standard. And who's the double standard applied to? The enemies of the president.
The
Let's be
enemies,
honest.
absolutely.
Yeah, and by the way, I don't believe for a second that Nextstar's motivating factor here was that they were aggrieved by what Kimmel had to say. I actually think the fact that the FCC needs to approve the merger that they so desperately want is the bigger factor here, and I find that particularly gross. But, you know, I guess my point is the left has always seen itself as...
Listen, there is no loyalty. There's no loyalty. He's been, if you didn't have problems with him, he's been a comedian. He's laughed and joked about people all the time. So whatever deal, the deal was more important than Kimmel. This is the bottom line. The deal. Money talks, Kimmel walks. Just like there was no loyalty with Israel, Bibi, and Trump with Charlie. Yeah. You want me to say it again for the ones in the back? They turned on him. They turned on him. They had high hopes for him. Thank you, Kimberly. Yes, they had high hopes for him. He had all the potential in the world with their Maga because of his mouth. Because of his mouth. And he had the right to say whatever he wanted to say. But then when that same mouth started questioning him, warning Trump about Israel, get out of here, get out of here. Yeah, so that meant he fully didn't understand how in debt Trump is to Israel and the deals that is going on with Israel. He didn't know. So he thought he was doing a good deed of warning Trump, not knowing that he just ended the relationship. So I guess that's when Bibi was trying to get him to come to Israel. Come. And he wouldn't go. He wouldn't go. So somebody met him and then got back on their plane, made the aviation not be able to track it. I mean, it's real easy. So everybody's supposed to continue to play dumb when you see and you know what's going on. Just like I see the signature is the exact same. Oh, but that's not his signature. What? So we're going to just continue to play dumb to facts. And we Christians. So we're going to lie. Not only are we going to lie, we're going to lie to ourselves. I mean, I know in the Bible it says, to thy own self be true. So don't lie to yourself. Because that ain't of God. I thought he was of God. Yeah, this is crazy. So play dumb. Let go of your constitutional right, freedom of speech. Let them have that. So when do you pick back up your freedom of speech? When can you get it back? Huh? Because once you give it up, it's gone. Y'all do know that, right? Once you give it up, it's gone. Once you give it up, It will be gone.
People who operate at a higher standard than the right, they don't roll around in the mud the way the right wingers do. They don't jump the gun when it comes to these shootings and pin the blame unfairly on the other side. But I guess what I've seen with,
I'm telling you, Jamie, once it's gone, it's gone.
Partisans on the left who are like just constantly enraged by Donald Trump. The entirety of their politics seems to be, guided by that hatred for Donald Trump. And I get it. But sometimes it clouds your.
No, you can be bought. You can be bought. Because you think it's okay to give up your rights. And if there was clauses or certain things he could not say or do in his contract, he would have been told by now. So, like when you have a job, right? And you know what is acceptable in corporate America, right? So, but if your job is a comedian, whatever you can and cannot say, stay away. It would have already been out there. Like I said, he's talked about Trump before. Even Trump wasn't off, even as the president. So what's so special now? I would like to ask you a question. I am a Republican, but I am not a foreign left Republican. I did not vote this year, and I would like to ask you some respectful questions. I put all Joanna put all questions on the super chat or super sticker, and then I'll answer from super chat, super sticker. Hi Jeffrey, that's Mark. Anybody else? Jamie, I saw you. Mimi, hey. Anyone? Justin, I saw you too, right? Yeah. Y'all listen, I have 398 votes and only 107 likes. And I almost had like 900 for right. Okay, I'm not sure. I'm just saying you know where the super chat super stickers are?
Mind, and it leads to you making decisions under not the best judgment. So I think it was wrong for him to pin the blame on the right. Again, I'm just going to repeat that. But I also think that what the Trump administration is doing in regard to retaliating against any reporting or press that he doesn't like is also a serious issue. I just don't know if the Jimmy Kimmel example is the best example.
I mean, he's catching feelings over a comic, man. If Joe Biden did this, it's I demand every comic who criticizes me be taken off the air.
Absolutely.
I won't approve mergers. People would have said, what a tyrant. What a ridiculous, thin-skinned loser, right?
Facts.
Trump does it, and we're like, oh, well, I mean, he did get a quarter of a joke
exactly.
wrong.
Trump does it.
We would never apply that standard to Gutfeld. And comic, man. If Joe Biden did this, it's I demand every comic who criticizes me be taken off the air. Otherwise, I won't approve mergers.
No, then I'm going to sue you. I'm going to sue you.
Ridiculous,
yeah,
thin-skinned loser, right?
Yes.
Trump does it, and we're like, oh, well, I mean, he did get a quarter of a joke wrong. No. We would never apply that standard to Gutfeld. And so and Anna, to your point, I get it. I get
It's a hypocrite.
Can you find someone in media that has a deeper loathing of the mainstream media than I do? And so their whole fake pretenses of like, oh, we are the truth, we are reality. Meanwhile, they're framing everything for status quo is great, politicians are great, corporations are great, etc. We've broken that down thousands of times on the Young Turks. But we have to have the same principles that apply to everyone.
Absolutely.
So that goes to your point. They should be more careful, especially if they're going to talk down their nose at people. I totally agree with that, right? But at the same time, taking them off the air for this type of microscopic infraction, and we know why they're doing it, to placate an out-of-control president who hates freedom of speech. So no, I hate this decision. I think it's totally wrong.
Once you give it
I've
up,
gotta
it's
read one
gone.
comment here because they made such a good point that I forgot to make in the last story. One of our members on TYT.com, next TYT reporter, wrote in, I don't care about the opinions of the company. Once the FCC gets involved, it's the government. The government policing speech is a violation of the First Amendment. Thank you for being part of the show. I love that we do the show with the members. I should have made that point earlier. That is the most important point. When the government gets involved and says, okay, well, we don't like what Jimmy Kimmel's jokes. No, that's a violation of the First Amendment. If the company wants to make a decision, as other members wrote in, for
They are trying to rewrite the Constitution. Y'all don't understand that? Y'all don't get it yet? What's that Bondi girl and somebody else? I can't remember the guy, but they was talking, well, you know, it's just up for interpretation. I have good lawyers for that, and you know, I mean, because this is how they're trying to say 2028, because they're going to try to rewrite the Constitution. Y'all don't get it yet. And once you start giving up your freedom of speech, it's gone. I don't know if he is or not. I don't even think that he should have even labeled him far left. I just think that was just crazy, because he's trying to cause division and divide, and he's trying to incite war. And unless the guy, I don't believe the D-court. I'm hearing that it's what is it, a D-court or discord or whatever. I'm hearing that what they said was in it wasn't necessarily in it. They did not have proof. They just put that out there. That came out in that Senate, in that House meeting, that he lied. He perjured himself. Discord, yeah. So what they saying, he said, Donald the Orange Man doing some real life. Yes, he is. And if people don't stop him and still continue to make excuses for him, next thing you know, the Supreme Court will be approving. No, you have to censor what you say. What is that country over like in Dubai? Well, you got to cover your head, and you can't say this, and you have to watch your tongue. Just all of that. You have to allow me to disrespect you, grab you, all of that. Really? No. This is crazy. He's intentionally making things difficult. And see, at one point, they thought it was just, that they was like taking all the black history stuff, all the black stuff away. He wasn't entitled to it. Now, it looks like they taking stuff away from them too, huh? Huh? Is that what we doing? Let's see. I could have sworn I heard them say Disney.
How do we pay for all this?
If it's Disney's involved, then the trafficking is involved.
We're so busy seeing so many things.
Let's be clear.
Having fun with the group,
Off the air indefinitely. This follows a controversy over comments the late night comedian made Monday night about Charlie Kirk's suspected killer and the Maga movement and their reaction to the assassination. Let's get straight to CNN's chief media affairs correspondent, Brian Stelter. Brian, what is going on?
That's right. This is fast developing this afternoon, Jake, amid pressure from the Trump-aligned FCC. And in the past few minutes, ABC confirmed to CNN the Kimmel show will be off the air, quote, indefinitely. We have not yet heard from Kimmel or his representatives. That's how quickly this has been developing. But let's back up and look at what Kimmel actually said on the program that has caused controversy.
Yeah, I
This is
need
from
40
Monday
likes,
night in
please.
his Monday evening monologue. Kimmel suggested that the alleged killer of Charlie Kirk might have been a pro-Trump Republican. He said, quote,
Yeah,
the
I'm not
MAGA gang
sacrificing
desperately
mine
trying
either.
to characterize this kid who murdered Charlie Kirk as anything other than one of them and doing everything they can to score political points from it. He said in between the finger pointing, there was grieving. Kimmel was...
In between the finger pointing, there was grieving. Hold on. Okay, so do we know how to hit the like button? Y'all come on, please. Lord, why do I have to do this? Oh my God. Let's go. And I gotta go to sleep while y'all playing with me. Let's go.
Disney and
Disney.
the ABC network are taking
Disney. Disney. Okay, well, yeah, so there we go. And that came from Jelaine that they had did business with Disney, and they had some program set up where they would let the kids go to the island from Disney.
Jimmy Kimmel Live off the air indefinitely. This follows a controversy over comments the late night comedian made Monday night about Charlie Kirk's suspected killer and the Maga movement and their reaction to the assassination. Let's get straight to CNN's chief media affairs correspondent, Brian Stelter. Brian, what is going on?
That's right. This is fast developing this afternoon, Jake, amid pressure from the Trump-aligned FCC. And in the past few minutes, ABC confirmed to CNN the Kimmel show will be off the air, quote, indefinitely. We have not yet heard from Kimmel or his representatives. That's how quickly this has been developing. But let's back up and look at what Kimmel actually said on the program that has caused controversy. This is from Monday night in his Monday evening monologue. Kimmel suggested that the alleged killer of Charlie Kirk might have been a pro-Trump Republican. He said, quote, the MAGA gang desperately trying to characterize this kid who murdered Charlie Kirk as anything other than one of them and doing everything they can to score political points from it. He said in between the...
And at that time, that is true because they did not know. But he was trying to remove it being away from the right. So that was true. And then they started coming up with these little Discord. They made up a whole story. And it came out during that testimony committee that they didn't actually have it and what they thought they had. I mean, it wasn't. But we're getting some correspondence that I'm sure. So what you said was a lie. Yeah, put what Kimberly said. Don't put comments, don't put questions in the chat. Only put them on super chats and super sticker. Yes.
There was grieving. Kimmel was expressing what we've heard some other liberals
They
say.
don't know what he is. You don't know what he is, Dirty. Because he hasn't said. He hasn't talked. Remember? He's not cooperating. He isn't talking. So where do they get that from? Somebody said. Yes, that's what somebody said. So what's the difference? No one knows because he has not said. Yeah, they misspoke. And Kash said that they were waiting on some more evidence. The man is not talking. Yeah, they wanted him to talk, and then they could have filled in the blanks. But he has not said a word. He went mute on them. So right now, anything we're hearing, they're making it up. Now what? Until he says he's not, then that means the right wing needs to return his money back that he has contributed to the Trump fund. Because they took his money, his donation. Yeah. Don't take any money from anyone except the right wing, if you're so adamant about it.
Days that the motives are unclear and that maybe the suspect in this case was a Republican or was some sort of far right fringe figure. Of course, there has been a lot of discussion about that in recent days. There's a lot of evidence pointing in other directions about the suspect. But Kimmel was on the air talking about this, making a very serious commentary amid his jokes in his monologue Monday night. Here's where it became
Who has confirmed that he is a groper? It started out saying, well, there is some indication that he may be affiliated with the gropers. Somebody made that up. Y'all, people make up stuff all the time, every day, all day long on social media. Did he say he is a groper? No, he did not. So just like Jimmy Kimmel, just like he gave his opinion, what's the difference in you making that assumption? Because he has not said that. And they're saying that the letter or whatever was in the Discord they lied. Kash Patel said yesterday that no, it wasn't in there. It wasn't in the Discord, but we're waiting on some more evidence to come that, and I'm sure what we get, so now they made it up. See, once you put that lie out there, it travels. And nobody hears him say, oh, well, well, we thought. So no one heard that. Thank God I heard it. Yeah, so they threw a lie out there for all the right to run with it. And so when he gives his opinion and he throws it out there, you can't handle it. You can't handle what you ditch out. Yeah. So I think the people who have this free speech, which you have, yeah, and you harsh with it, you rude and disrespectful, yeah, you should be able to handle what you ditch out. But you can't. You just want to be able to say whatever you want to say. And then you won't respect. And the letter wasn't true. They just typed up a letter, Jeffrey. They just typed that up. They just typed it up. This is crazy. It's crazy.
Interesting earlier today. The FCC
This whole year, what is it? 8, 9 months? What is it? 9 months have been a whole clown show. And I have no idea when left, right, center, anybody is going to say, okay, enough. Enough. We cannot continue to go along with the shenanigans. Come on. You know, we thought it was just going to be to attack over here and, you know, get this. So now it's just all over the place. Yeah. It almost feels like, and this is just me and how I feel. This is just my opinion. It almost feel like Israel Bibi, when he slid in here and did it, and Trump didn't know he was going to do it. Or he thought that he would be able to talk some sense into him. And somebody slid in, handled their business, and got on the plane and left. So now he hurting. This is what it feel like to me. Because he told him what old Charlie said. Yeah. Yeah. Yep. Because like someone asked them in the committee meeting, you know, you have all this evidence. I mean, you have what did he say? Intel. Okay, so how did he get on the roof? We saw how he got off the roof. How did he get on the roof? How did he get on the roof? Nobody hit a 200-yard shot. Like, how did he get on the roof? Did he put a ladder? I mean, he not bionic, so he couldn't jump up there. How did he get on the roof? Yeah. I'll stage.
Went on a far-right webcast and condemned Kimmel and urged ABC to suspend him. He also talked about possible regulatory punishments of Disney because there are lots of different stations that have licenses with the FCC. Within the past hour, we've heard from a big owner of stations that have affiliations with ABC, a company called Nexstar, saying that they were going to suspend Kimmel's show on their station. So in other words, about 24 stations were refusing to air Kimmel's show tonight as a result of this controversy. And then following word that some of those stations were basically revolting against Kimmel, Disney, the parent company of ABC, decided to yank the show entirely. So that's all we know.
Then I'm going to assume all of those people, all those company and businesses are tied in with Epstein and Trump and all the deals and the money. They're all in business together. I mean, because what makes... well, obviously, FBI didn't know that today. Or was it yesterday? He didn't know that. He didn't know. And so where did he get a ladder? Where did he get the ladder? And why he didn't go down the ladder? Where was the ladder when he jumped off the side of the building? Where was the ladder? They making this stuff up. I'm telling you, they are making it up. You know how I know? Because they don't have answers. They don't have answers. He would have said when we found the ladder, it was on the opposite side, or you know, it was land, it had fell over. No. He didn't know. He did not know. So they are making stuff up as he's being asked. So he'll know how to respond. Because he fell miserably today.
Or for the foreseeable future, because the network says the show has been yanked off the air indefinitely.
Brian, just to take one issue, your interpretation of what Kimmel said, I think, is the one that Brendan Carr had and the one that the individuals at Nexstar have.
Trump is the pawn.
What he said specifically was, quote, the Maga gang is desperately trying to characterize this
like
who murdered Charlie Kirk.
Oh, no. They say Israel. BB is the king.
that can be read in several ways. That could be heard in several ways. It could also be it could also be argued he's saying that what the MAGA gang is doing is just trying to make sure that they don't have any ownership of it, not necessarily that this killer, this horrible person, was part of them. I mean,
I think you're making a very important point.
Yeah,
You're making a very important point. And let's take it a little bit step further. This was all on Monday night. Nobody seemed to notice this yesterday, Jake. This all erupted in the past few hours when the Trump-aligned FCC chairman decided to point at it. Now, I've heard from him in the past few minutes, Brendan Carr, thanking Nexstar for doing the right thing by yanking the show. He has not yet commented on ABC yanking the show altogether across the entire country. But let's remember that when Stephen Colbert's show was canceled over the summer, what did President Trump say? He said, next up will be an even less talented Jimmy Kimmel. It is clear that pro-Trump allies have been trying to target ABC over Kimmel for several weeks now, and tonight they've prevailed.
Yeah, Brian Stelter, thanks so much for that breaking news. Let's go right to the panel. And let me first start by showing,
I only pray
I wondered
that
what was
these
going on earlier today when I saw
no.
this pop up on Twitter. This is the FCC chairman, Brendan Carr, on...
Just like they said that yeah, we deleted old stinky boy one over here, and he goes on my other comments on the troll page. Oh my goodness. You just have to say, I mean, it's not like I have a problem with Charlie. It is rest in peace. It absolutely is rest in peace. So you got it confused again. It is absolutely rest in peace. May your soul rest in peace. Absolutely. But I'm not giving up my freedom of speech. See the difference? It is absolute. I have the right to say rest in peace. No one is going to take my right to say what I want to say. Now, although I say rest in peace, I'm still going to say he did not represent God. I did not see God in the things that he said and did. But it's still rest in peace. Yeah, so you don't have to go on other posts to make a point. It's still rest in peace. See, that's what a real Christian would say. Yeah. Yeah.
A far-right podcast talking about...
No, boy, it
what
says
Kimmel's
a
comments were.
stinky
Let's
boy
roll it.
one. I think
Take the
he
next step
got
in your financial journey at Thrivent.com.
removed over here
where
under a
money
different
means more.
page. So he went on the troll page.
You know, when you look at the conduct that has taken place by Jimmy Kimmel, it appears...
I bet you. What did it say? I bet you
sickest
are gonna
conduct
delete my other
possible.
comments
I'm
just
supposed to
cause you
for
don't like
him
them.
to be fired.
Well, if that's
I
the
think,
case, then don't come over
we
here.
certainly see a path forward for suspension over this. And again, you know, the FCC is going to have remedies that we could look at.
Yeah, see how that go? They still want to be able to say what they want to say in their comments. And if I remove them because of the things that they say, it's out of line to me, you still want to get your point across. See how that go? You still want to force your comment, your statement. But you're trying to tell me other people don't have the right to say what they want to say or type what they want to say. Okay. That's sheer entitlement. Entitlement. And that's the problem. That's the problem. And I'm still going to say, why was he so above everybody and everything else? That whoever feels like we should give up our right of freedom of speech for this one person. Are you crazy? Are you crazy? you've lost your mind. And I just want to be real clear about it. Half of us ain't never even heard of the man. But this right here has nothing to do with whether he should have been unalive. It don't have anything. Everyone pretty much have said he didn't. He should not have lost his life for having a freedom of speech. Just like he should not have lost his job for freedom of speech. Now, if his job have guidelines or standard operating procedures of what you should always have, be sensitive to people who have passed, then they should have started that a long time ago. What makes him so special that the whole world should mourn? No, absolutely not. That is ridiculous.
Joe, are you comfortable with the FCC playing this role?
I don't think this is a legal issue. I don't think this can be pointed to the FCC or the Trump administration and say, well, this is about them going after Kimmel because of what he said. Personally, I think it's more of a cultural issue. And I got to tell you, look, I'm about as moderate a Republican as you're going to get. I'm from New York. I have not been comfortable watching late night television for 15 years because when you have conservative leanings and you're constantly mocked and you constantly feel like you're doing something wrong, you shut it off. You don't watch it anymore.
Absolutely.
It's circular. If the host doesn't have that audience, the host doesn't worry about keeping an audience like that. It goes in circles, and at some point, you get things like this where you say things, and that wasn't the full quote. The further quote was that he mocked President Trump for flying the flags at half-staff in remembrance of Charlie Kirk and said it's like grieving of a 4-year-old, as a 4-year-old grieves for a goldfish.
No,
That was the full quote there.
Well, the full quote was, I think he ran the clip of a reporter asking President Trump how he was doing with the death of Charlie Kirk. And President Trump said, I think I'm doing okay. And then he proceeded to talk about the ballroom that was being built on the White House grounds. I think that was the full context.
Absolutely. He dismissed it. The ballroom, the land, the trucks over there was more important. He wasn't in mourning. He was excited about them laying the concrete on the house that's not even his. But everybody's missing it. He's not intending on leaving that house. Or they are intending to bomb it or something. He is not intending on leaving it. Okay? Yeah, y'all are missing the big picture. And as long as they keep letting him rewrite history, remove whatever he wants to remove it, because he doesn't like it, yeah, y'all keep allowing him to chip away. And before you know it, he is going to feel like this is his country. But I'm finding out already that Israel thinks that the U.S. is his. That the U.S. is in debt to him. So they have been enemies of the state. It sounds to me as if they have traded the U.S. So while people are making excuses and allowing him to do it, he's trying to steal the country.
Again, I didn't say any of this. I'm just trying to present as accurate a picture of what did happen. Ellie, this is the FCC commissioner. Right. I don't think we have seen an FCC commissioner this aggressive in our lifetimes. What do you think of it all?
So, to the point of whether there's a legal element here, I think Joe's right. Like, the First Amendment says Congress shall make no law, which means you can only enforce the First Amendment against the government. So can Jimmy Kimmel sue? No, he can't sue ABC for making a decision to remove him. That's a private entity. But what Donald Trump is doing repeatedly is he's expanding his executive power in two ways. One, I would say, is precedented. That's the traditional stuff. I have more authority to hire and fire executive branch officials. I don't have to respond to Congress, that kind of thing. He's fighting that out in the court. We've seen that before.
Absolutely.
What's unprecedented, however, is the way Donald Trump is using official power from the FCC on to go after universities, law firms, and media companies that he disagrees with on policy or on politics. That is new. We've not seen that from any president before.
This is actually cancel culture. I mean, that's what this is. The chairman of the Fed, Federal Communications Commission, Brent Carr, added on Benny Johnson's podcast that the broadcasters, including ABC, have a license granted by us at the FCC, and that comes with it an obligation to operate in the public interest. Elsewhere in the interview, Carr attacked Kimmel as talentless and suggested the late-night comedian's comments displayed some sort of, quote, desperate irrelevance. Is that what we want the FCC chairman to be doing?
It's a very slippery slope, and there's a pattern. We keep talking about it like it's not happening, and it just keeps happening over and over and over again with folks he disagrees with. I'm a Democrat. I'll say what happened to Charlie Kirk is disgusting. We should have...
Here's Kimmel leaving. Oh, wow. Did I miss him? Oh, he got in the car. I have it up too high. Can y'all see? Jimmy Kimmel leaving. Oh, wow.
Jimmy Kimmel did nothing but point out some of the hypocrisy of these fascists. And for this, he is being canceled and he is being threatened to speak and go after anybody that is opposing them. Strategy that we have, that we are...
Wow. That is sad. Absolutely sad.
A court, that if he did it, he should be prosecuted to every extent of the law. Keeps happening over and over and over again with folks he disagrees with. I'm a Democrat. I'll say what happened to Charlie Kirk is disgusting. We should have a court, that if he did it, he should be prosecuted to every extent of the law. We shouldn't have to say that. That's just common sense. But we also should say the First Amendment matters to everybody, whether they agree or they disagree.
Right.
And I just think that what we're going through right now is unprecedented. It's unseemly.
Hey, Lisa.
And I think that it's really getting out of hand because it's just happening more and more and more with folks who disagree.
It's getting out of hand. My point exactly. If you continue to allow it to happen, they will rewrite the Constitution. The rights that we know we have will no longer be our rights. And he would still be a convicted felon in the White House. They intentionally wanted the what they call them con artists. They wanted the con artists in office to con us out of our country.
But we also should say the First Amendment matters to everybody, whether they agree or they disagree. And I just think that what we're going through right now is unprecedented. It's unseemly, and I think that it's really getting out of hand because it's just happening more and more and more with folks who disagree.
We do have the clip that Jimmy Kimmel said Monday night. Obviously this is not the entire 8 or 9 minute monologue. This is just one clip of it, but this is what he said.
We had some new lows over the weekend with the MAGA gang desperately trying to characterize.
Okay, let me position it so we can see it.
This kid who murdered Charlie Kirk as anything other than one of them, and doing everything they can to score political points from it.
And that's the truth.
Now, the way that Fox covered what he
That's
just
the
said
truth.
there
He did
was,
not lie.
Kimmel suggests Kirk assassin was one of the MAGA gang. Despite reports of leftist leanings, I don't know that I think that that is an accurate description.
Neither one of them. We don't know
to write what they
either way.
The job of the FCC is not to regulate and police content. It's not, do we like this? Does this make us comfortable or uncomfortable? I don't like anything about what Jimmy Kimmel said, frankly. I agree with Joe. I find his comments reprehensible, but it's not the FCC's job to say, do we like this or do we not? And the FCC, of course, is a government actor. And I'm thinking sort of off the top of my head here, but if ABC wanted to fight this, clearly they don't because they've made the decision to dispatch or suspend Jimmy Kimmel. If they wanted to fight this, they might have a basis to go into court the same way that law firms have gone into court, and Harvard, among other universities, have gone into court and said, this is an overextension of government power, of executive power. This violates the First Amendment. And again, they can bring that because the FCC is a government actor, but Jimmy Kimmel cannot do anything against ABC because they're private.
One other thing that the FCC Commissioner Brendan Carr did in that interview with Benny Johnson, who, by the way, has said plenty of things that a lot of people find objectionable, is he suggested actually the exact course of action that happened. He said what could happen is local affiliates could complain to ABC about the content, and then those local affiliates could say they're going to refuse to air Jimmy Kimmel Live. And that's actually what happened. Nexstar, which owns a bunch of ABC affiliates, they were the first ones to say in a statement, and a Variety broke this news, we're going to preempt the show. Is there any coming back from this, do you think?
Well, I don't think ABC is canceling him because they're afraid of the FCC. I think they're afraid that they're going to lose whatever audience he has left because that's such an offensive thing he said. Look, there's so much media alternatives at this point, so I think the FCC's, the range of authority they have is less and less because there's so many other outlets to reach out to. So if Kimmel wants to reappear somewhere else, he will. I think the point is, though, that, again, when you alienate a part of the population who at some point just stops watching, then you have no incentive to keep whatever left of that audience there is. And then, it just kind of goes down the drain.
Disney and the ABC network are taking...
Well, Disney, we know what's going on with Disney. And the Epstein Island, and Ghislaine Maxwell. A lot of deception. Hold on, let me see this one. Oh, Lord. Yeah, listen, please hit the like button. Please hit the like button. Fraudulent conclusion. Let me see.
This, garbage, to the extent that that's what comes down the pipe in the future, isn't something that we think serves.
And so now we have, folks, breaking news. ABC is suspending Jimmy Kimmel indefinitely from his late night show over comments that he made about Charlie Kirk. Why do they do this? Because Nexstar, one of the local television station groups, was threatening to
you pay for the kids'
Kimmel's
future
show from their stations as a result of those comments. Now, let me explain to y'all, and not only that, the FCC chairman, Brendan Carr, who is a Donald Trump sycophant, went on the show of right-winger Benny Johnson. You know, the dude, I think he got, Benny got money from the Russians, I believe.
Oh, there we
He
go.
went on the show and called on Disney to suspend him, or he was going to pull the licenses of ABC. Now,
It is very ridiculous.
to people how this works, okay? ABC, the network, Disney owns ABC. ABC
One
is
of
a
my
network.
theories is
The
Charlie
network
set
does not have
this
an
up
FCC
himself. And
The
the
Federal
sugar.
Communications Commission grants broadcast licenses to local TV stations. Disney ABC owns several. They're called owned and operated stations. And so the FCC could take action against those stations. But you have these affiliates. They pay ABC for their programming. Those are owned by Sinclair, Nexstar, Tegna, and others. So, Nexstar, because
Oh, wow. He had to include us.
could say we're taking you off the air because we don't want to piss off the FCC chairman.
How did it become a black
Which is very rare, but under
terror?
Donald Trump, they have been threatening this left and right. The same Brendan Carr has been threatening companies, ordering them to remove DEI, to do all of those different things. He told Paramount, not approving the merger, let's get rid of DEI. Every company that is governed by the FCC, including some telecoms, are scared to death because Brendan Carr is using his authority to force these people to do the bidding of Donald Trump. And so now we have this news coming out now that they are suspending or removing the show, removing Jimmy Kimmel's show for an indefinite period of time over these comments made regarding Charlie Kirk. Let's go to my panel. Rebecca, I want to go to you. I mean, listen, Donald Trump's remember, he comes in, he settles with Disney. He basically tells Paramount, yeah, y'all gonna pay me up or ain't approving your merger. Same thing. They're kissing his butt. They hire a right-wing ombudsman who has no experience whatsoever in media. What NBC is doing. And so this is about, listen, the Washington Post has capitulated. You got them firing people. They just fired Karen Attia, opinion writer. They have no black columnists left on their opinion page. All of these
Of course they are, Kimberly.
Because Donald Trump is using the authority of the federal government to bring these people to heel. And
so I guess the black church, the pastors and preachers that voiced their opinion about it, and black, I mean, because we wasn't involved. So now he has to find a way. Yeah, yes, they want the sale to go through, and that's why it's kissing. This is what happens when you vote to put oh yeah, he picked the Supreme Court. He picked them on purpose. They all a part of it.
We now see this here with one of his biggest critics in Jimmy Kimmel. And this comes all after CBS announced they're canceling his other big critic, Stephen Colbert, his show.
Roland, this is the reason why I made the comment that I made during the last segment about you having a telethon or some extended special show really documenting and really showing how the consolidation of the news, how the impact with this administration is really cooling down sources of information, how people are receiving information, and the increase of censorship. If people are saying something that the almighty ruler doesn't particularly care for, because people need someone to be able to walk them through what's happening. The reason why it's important for independent journalists journalism and independent journalists like yourself and this type of platform to walk people through this is because we know in traditional media right now they are scared. They absolutely would not do it. It's not that they can't do it. It's they will not do it because of how media is being consolidated and the particular folks who are behind some of the consolidation in media. They're dancing to this administration's beat. And so people really need to understand what's happening and why investing in independent journalism is very important. We see an increase in journalists who have left traditional media who are now going to Substack, and they're looking for other ways to continue to do their craft, to continue to report on news and provide information to the masses of people. But what we're seeing within mass communications is that mass communications is consolidating, where it's going to be limited to 1, 2, or maybe 3 if we're lucky sources, which is why people really have to lean into independent journalism. People have to understand the critical reasoning and the analysis that journalists and true journalists and trained journalists actually use in reporting information. It's not just you're pulling something off of a wire. It's not just that you're reading a press release. It's not that you just see something posted somewhere else and then you get on camera and you regurgitate what has been written. But it's the who, what, when, where, why, and how. It's asking the primary questions, the secondary questions, the tertiary questions, asking the follow-up questions to make sure that the readers, the viewers, truly understand the why of the particular story that's being reported. So, Roland, you're definitely going to have to be able to do this so people, especially Black America, understands what's happening and understand the information that they're receiving and what that information should look like.
This right here, Raven, this was the threat. It happened a few hours ago that forced all of this to happen. This is Brendan Carr, the chairman of the Federal Communications Commission, appearing on the podcast of right-wing conspiracy theorist Benny Johnson. Listen.
There's actions that we can take on licensed broadcasters, and frankly, I think that it's really sort of past time that a lot of these licensed broadcasters themselves push back on Comcast and Disney and say, listen, we are going to preempt. We are not going to run Kimmel anymore until you straighten this out, because we licensed broadcaster, are running the possibility of fines.
They are part of the Klan.
To run content that ends up being a pattern of.
They are part of the old boy,
I think, again,
good old boy
Disney sees some change
organization.
here, but the individual licensed stations that are taking their content, it's time for them to step up and say, this, garbage, to the extent that that's what comes down the pipe in the future, isn't something that we think serves the needs of our local communities. But this sort of status quo is obviously not acceptable where we are.
But they can have an opinion about whatever they want to have an opinion about.
Luxury to your home with a view.
The needs of our local communities, but this sort of status quo is obviously not acceptable where we are.
Carr says nothing about right-wing lies ever. Now I need everybody to understand what this was, Andrew. This was Carr threatening ABC, threatening the local stations, and they buckled. Oh, we're taking him off the air for an indefinite period of time. Now, not apology. This ain't even Brian Kilmeade who said, let's kill the homeless, and he gave his half-hearted apology. He was back on the air the next day. No, this is Donald Trump and MAGA forcing big media, mainstream media, to bend the knee and to bow down to him.
Period.
Yeah, and it is very, very scary to see somebody that's been such a pillar of comedy in Jimmy Kimmel fired because of the comments that he made during a show that is loosely supposed to be satire. And, that the Charlie Kirk issue has been such a polarizing issue throughout the United States, which I don't quite fully understand, and I have my own personal opinions about it, and I feel as though, Jimmy Kimmel being fired for this is ridiculous.
No. He's not fired. No. He's not fired. His show is being definitely suspended. Go ahead.
Same thing. He took all this stuff.
For this, and the hypocrisy and
The hypocrisy, absolutely.
is moving, and for journalists who want to tell the truth going forward and want both sides of the story, now they have to be looking over their shoulder and wondering, well, is this going to get me fired? If I report on this person, and is this going to be something that possibly ends my career? It's no longer about the truth now to them, right?
Right.
It's about the impact of how their bosses,
the right-wing liars.
Bosses might view this, and it's completely hypocritical because the main argument that they're saying about Charlie Kirk is that he was telling the truth. Everyone else tries to tell the truth, they get indefinitely suspended. And the last thing about Jimmy Kimmel, he's indefinitely suspended, but Roland, it seemed like he might be on the market for a so you can't
YouTube content
Here's the deal here, Raven, and so we're gonna play
YouTube
for y'all.
content
This is
will
exactly
need to
what Jimmy
get
Kimmel
approved
said.
first by Trump. Here that was.
We hit some new lows over the weekend with the MAGA gang desperately trying to characterize this kid who murdered Charlie Kirk as anything other than one of them and doing everything they can to score political points from it. In between the finger pointing, there was grieving. On Friday, the White House flew the flags at half staff, which got some criticism. But on a human level, you can see how hard the president is taking this.
My condolences on the loss of your friend Charlie Kirk. Yes, sir, personally, how are you holding up over the last
Oh, this is what happened right here.
Very good. And by the way, right there, you see all the trucks. They just started construction of the new ballroom for the White House.
Right here.
Which is something they've been trying to get it
Right here. This is what.
and it's going to be a beauty.
I thought they was.
At the fourth stage of grief, construction. This is not how an adult grieves the murder of someone he called a friend. This is it.
So just in case y'all missed it, that yeah, okay, how you go? Oh, that's good. Oh yeah, no, he like I. Is the real reason Jimmy Kimmel lost his job.
Yes. He's at the fourth stage of grief, construction. Demolition. Construction.
I don't know about all of them, Prime Minister Chris. I just know about right here. I don't know. I didn't see. Listen, y'all can say what y'all want to say about Barack Obama. He had no issues. He had none. None. If what's his name, Trump could have found him doing no scandals. None. You know he would have thrown it out there. He had none. Yeah, that's why he can't stand him. Yeah. Yeah. He looked more like a real president than he will ever. No.
It literally lasted 3 seconds.
Most of them are, though.
Before I go to Raven, play it again. I want you to listen to this here, because to understand.
Well, Trump was going to try to.
Right is so angry.
He's trying to rewrite it.
Listen to this.
We hit some new lows over the weekend with the MAGA gang desperately trying to characterize this kid who murdered Charlie Kirk as anything other than one of them and doing everything they can to score.
That was it. Trying to desperately characterize him as anyone other than them. So it's not like they said, "Hey, Jimmy,
no,
go on the air."
He got canceled cause he put that up there by him.
Here's the other problem here, y'all. We don't know nothing about him.
Absolutely.
The reporting so far, you can't necessarily believe what you're hearing.
You can't,
so crazy,
right?
Raven.
You're right, cause
right is so hardcore. No, leftists. Not That one of us.
Yeah.
So what they did was they knew.
Mm-hmm.
This is the thing that people understand.
They knew he was.
They knew the Achilles heel of ABC, NBC, CBS. Those are federal licenses. Raven, for the people who don't know, the reason
They're going fishing without a fishing rod.
Go after CNN or Fox News
Oh.
or MSNBC is because those are cable networks. The FCC has no
I gotta put this down.
over cable networks, but they do broadcast licenses.
You got up for this?
Another profound and unapologetic overreach of power. But are we surprised?
Struck a nerve.
Was a key contributor.
Yeah, it was funny too.
We didn't knew he's a Trump lackey, and he's shown us that every single day that he's been in this position, right? I mean, I think
it was funny.
One sentiments on what happened to Charlie Kirk and what little information we have about the suspected murderer. What Jimmy is naming is not an unfair thing to name.
Nope.
There is a problem among white America of young white men being radicalized, of people on the right making it easy for people to get their hands on guns who have no business having their hands on guns.
And who fault was that?
And that this is a problem, a white man specific problem. Not that only white men are doing it, but
Let me
young
see.
white men are at the epicenter of this conversation in some critical ways. So I don't think that was unreasonable to name. And I think it actually says a lot more that there is outrage at that query being posited, as opposed to outrage at the fact that gun violence like this is happening in our country to begin with. Gun violence that disproportionately impacts Black and brown people in a lot of ways. And yet the outrage that this white supremacist was gunned down is greater than what I've seen for, the kids that were killed.
At
right?
my
That same
job
day.
in the locker room,
So
they
he's not trying to
have
hire guys how people are supposed to care or what that's supposed to look like. But it is to say that I think Jimmy is getting to a critical issue.
I don't know what that is.
That the right does refuse to name, does refuse to reckon with. And the fact that now that this is leading to
Yeah, I'm sleeping.
to essentially responses that disallow free speech is really rich, coming from the party that claims to have free speech at the epicenter of its platform. If y'all care about it so much, it's not just free speech when you like what
They got Kamala stickers.
Free speech because free speech is critical and central to democracy.
Wow.
Period. So this is unsurprising, but deeply disappointing and concerning for the state of our democracy.
And also,
I agree.
you can actually make a mistake and you come back and
They are going to try to take away. He hates to be embarrassed.
Mine is right now. This is Texas Congressman Troy Nils.
Everybody listen. I'm going to tell you, everybody needs to get back. Forget about Charlie. Stop talking about Charlie and get back on the Epstein. Everybody, stop talking about him. Stop talking about Charlie. Let them handle that. Get back on the Epstein. Because that's what it was designed for. You let me tell it. Hi, John. Epstein for absolutely. He thinks that we have forgot. Yeah. So stop talking about Charlie since nobody can have an opinion about him. Keep him. Because he wasn't that special to us that we're going to give up our freedom of speech. So let's get back on the Epstein. Let's get back on being concerned about the victims. Yeah. Well, we know Disney is definitely a part of.
Y'all, this is not AI. This was actually stated on Capitol Hill.
Charlie Kirk was a man of faith.
Oh, Lord.
First and foremost, he loved his Lord Jesus. He loved his family. Beautiful wife, beautiful children. Just a remarkable, honorable man that was silenced with this assassin's bullet. I would say if Charlie Kirk lived in the biblical times,
See?
he'd have been the 13th disciple.
He'd have been what?
Beautiful wife, beautiful children.
Oh, my God.
Just a remarkable, honorable man that was silenced with this assassin's bullet. I would say if Charlie Kirk lived in the biblical times,
Don't say it.
he'd have been the 13th disciple.
Oh, Lord.
He'd have been the 13th disciple.
With who? The devil is a lie. The devil is a lie.
He'd have been the 13th.
You a lie, and the truth ain't in you.
First and foremost, he loved his Lord Jesus. He loved his family. Beautiful wife, beautiful children.
Listen, sir. It appears, so let's be clear, since, y'all got it twisted. And again, I don't know what Bible y'all be reading, but you look awfully red right here, sir. So listen. It appears that he loved Trump more than he loved the Lord. He said he compromised his morals and his integrity for Trump. So he loved Maga more than he loved the Lord. That's why that crazy stuff was coming out of his mouth. He said everything that was opposite of love. He didn't respect empathy, and God is empathy. He died for us. He felt sorry for us. Yeah. So stop that. You're a lie and the truth ain't. That's why your face is turning red, because you lying.
Man that was silenced with this assassin's bullet. I would say if Charlie Kirk lived in the biblical times, he'd have been the 13th disciple.
Oh, wow.
He'd have been the 13th disciple.
Watch our people. My people. Well.
He also wouldn't have become a conservative star because if he had been one of the disciples sitting on the teachings of Jesus, he would not have had the opinions that he had. But I played that just so people can understand the state of mind of where these folks are.
Yeah, they've lost their mind.
It is no shock at all.
So I just can't believe that.
Another one.
That.
Y'all, this is their mission. They do not support free speech. They support them talking and the rest of us shutting up.
Yeah.
Hello, I'm Isaac Hayes III.
All right, good people. I appreciate y'all spending some time with me tonight. I gotta go to sleep. I gotta get. This is way too much for me. It's just no. I need to understand what they saw.
At Marshall,
they act like
24/7.
he was something special.
Quality or price. Who said expensive taste?
As if they never met anyone like him before. We meet people like that all the time.
The good stuff.
But and for real about it.
Former director of the CDC for the first time since she was fired, just 29 days after.
I don't know what this is. I mean, we meet remarkable young people all the time. And they not necessarily manipulating at all. I mean, I don't understand. Yeah, and I'm trying. You know what, Prime Minister Chris, I'm trying not to even compare it. You know, I really base how I feel just really on reality. And let's just say my rights. If I just stick it to my rights, without having to measure it. Well, y'all didn't do no tit for tat. Let's just say no tit for tat. Although we know we can. And even if I don't tit for tat, I'm still not going to give up my freedom of speech for Charlie. Why would I? Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. But we wasn't supposed to know it. Yeah. Just like we weren't supposed to know his name is on the Epstein. So y'all little tricks and stunts and we supposed to just play dumb. No, he not the type of person that you can play a dumb with, because he go from one to another. But everyone needs to get back on the Epstein. And so when y'all go places, get in the comments section and put stop talking about Charlie and get back on the Epstein files. Since they want us to give up our right to speak about Charlie, cool. Let's go back to Epstein. And then he gonna say, y'all still talking about? Absolutely. Swap Charlie for the Epstein files. Yeah. They say he can't. You know, I don't know. I don't know. So I felt too big. All right, y'all. Good night.